Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury. This is an AudioFuse studio from the guys at Arturia. It has lots of features, but one of the key things that excited me was that its ability to be a reamper. Now, if you don't know what that is, stick around. I'm going to be recording some guitar and we're going to experiment with reamping with some pedals, and we've got a special guest beaming in from Grenoble in France to help me midway through the video. Let's do it! Before we get on the blower to Martin in France and learn more about the AudioFuse and how we're going to use it to reamp some guitar sounds, we need some guitar sounds. I'm going to play in 3 parts into Logic with the simple finger click, with the idea of reamping them later. And this is one of the main reasons why I use reamping, which is maybe you don't have access to your real amp at this time, but you're going to use some software. In this instance, I've got this is what the DI sounds like. Wholly uninteresting, but for tracking's sake, I'm going to turn on Guitar Rig, where I've got one of my favourite presets called Sultans of Pop, and this is what it sounds like. I like that, but I've got an awesome amp over there, a Lazy J20 built by the main man Jesse Hoff, and also my own guitar here. If you want one of these custom scratch plates, Hannah Collins art on Instagram, unbelievable, drip art extraordinaire, and did this. Anyway, I'm plugging some other stuff. Let's record these parts. Three guitar parts in there. Next stage is calling up our good friend in France. Let's ruddy do it. Martin, thanks for joining me. Whereabouts are you and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Jake. I'm in Grenoble. It's like southeast of France, in the Alps.
And you're at Arturia HQ.
Yeah, I'm in Arturia, brand new HQ actually. We just moved in a new building like a few months ago. And yeah, I'm in Arturia Studio. It's, yeah, nice place.
Congratulations, doing great things. I've got the AudioFuse Studio here. Now, our mutual friend Alex said that you might be able to help me. Essentially what I've done is I've recorded some guitar parts just using the AudioFuse and inbuilt amp modeling, and I want to reamp it. But what's great is I want to, if you could, teach me how I'm going to do that, and also just a bit about the AudioFuse Studio, because I understand you were involved in the development, right?
Yeah, I'm the project manager for this. Well, cool. It's going to be pretty easy with the AudioFuse. So the AudioFuse, it's audio interface with 8 analog input, including 4 mic pre's, instrument input, plus 4 line in at the back. It's a lot about audio quality in the preamps, in the conversion, and you got like loads of functionality. And one of them is the reamping function. You want to go have a look around the interface first?
Yes, please. Yeah, because sure. It smells brilliant as well. I don't know what you did to it in France, but out of the box, it smells really good.
Well, that's a good start. Right, so you have the 8 analog inputs. It's our own preamp. We call it Discret Pro. It's we actually started developing this preamp from scratch. It took us like 3 years, and we got fantastic performances with that in terms, of noise, dynamic range, and also the amount of gain available. So this is around 70-ish dB of gain available, which means that whatever small signal using ribbon mic, for example, you can capture all the details without increasing the noise floor. So that's one of the key points, I think, for these analog inputs. Beside that, we have like probably one of the most comprehensive monitoring sections. So you see it's loaded with feature and buttons and knobs, and that's only for the monitoring. So monitoring is like speaker selection. So you got like 2 speaker outputs, so you can switch from speaker A, B here. You got source selection, which is really cool because when you're mixing, like, okay, I'm listening to my mix, I'm listening now to my reference mix, and I can switch back, directly from the interface. You don't need to go to in your DAW, switch over. So we try to make as many function available in one click, like all the preamp section also, and the monitoring section, like even each source selection for the phones. You don't need to go inside the software to say, okay, what I want to listen to my phone. You can directly select it from the phone panel. That's one of the key features for this interface. Audio quality and accessibility of almost every function.
And the mono functionality. I love that.
Like mono, mute, dim, on speaker, mono even on the headphones. And all of this is independent, so you don't need to say, okay, well,
for the one ear wearer.
Yeah, exactly.
You want that mono? Yeah, that's really handy.
Right. And then one of the big characteristics is the connectivity. It's like you can come in the studio here, and you will, whatever type of audio you have, you'll be able to connect it. So we got the 8 analogs. You get 4 mic pre's plus 4 line inputs. 2 of them can switch to phono, so you can put, turntable if you want to. There's even Bluetooth audio receiver, so if you just want to,
I didn't know that.
Well, that's kind of little feature handy, like people come in the studio and, hey, check out this demo. You just press the Bluetooth button up here, and you're done. You can record it, you can just listen to it. It's a small feature, but it's in terms of workflow, it makes things easier. And then you have all the kind of digital I/O. So you got SPDIF, ADAT, a lot of technical term here, but it's just to extend the capacity of the unit. If you want to add more preamps, you can add ADAT expander. You get 8 more channel to the unit. I forgot to mention we got insert on every mic pre. And then there's small, do you see that? Yeah? All right.
Yeah. I did see it when I got it out of the box. That's incredible, yeah.
Yeah, at the back of the box, you get the insert. I didn't mention, little things like USB hub. I don't know if it's the same for you, but in the studio, you never got enough USB connectivity. It's always like, you need this small, junky USB hub for everything. So we included in one. It's a small feature, but it's something that's also really convenient. What else? Well, MIDI I/O for sure. And so that will interest us a lot is that we have the 2 speaker output, but we also have what we call auxiliary output at the back. So this is a pair of line out, okay? And they are DC coupled, which means that you can connect them to some modular synths if you want to control CV control and that kind of stuff from your DAW to some external synths. So you can use them as this. You can use them as standard line output for connecting an additional phone amp, for example. And they also have this reamping mode. So you will switch this auxiliary output to reamp mode. And so you're going to connect this output to any instrument level device, such as your guitar amp or guitar pedal. And this is really cool. We actually added that because, when you got starting to get some gear, some guitar pedals, and you can be a keyboardist or guitarist, you have this, this kind of stuff around. And usually we only use it when we're recording. You get your tone, you insert your pedals, place your mic, record your amp. That's cool. But it's actually really cool also to have the ability to use that when you're mixing, or even if you're recording, trying to change your settings, change a different sound. So I can go, if you want now, more into detail of the reamping, but the principle of reamping is you recording your guitar through a direct box. I say DI in English, yeah?
Yes,
yeah. So you go through a DI, and through the DI you can convert like your guitar pickup signal to a signal which is acceptable for our preamps here. And you record it clean without anything. And reamping enables you to get that signal from your DAW and re-record it through your guitar pedal or your amplifier. Okay, and for that you need that specific reamping output. Okay.
And I think that's magic, because I've done it before, but I needed to buy a separate box. So I have a radial reamper.
Yeah.
And that cost a considerable amount of money.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, exactly. But as I understand that is changing. Is it like the impedance, or what does it do scientifically?
So let's get technical. Let's get scientific almost.
Technical.
Yeah.
Let's get physical.
All right. Basically, when you connect like an audio source to an audio input or destination, you need to get first the level right. Okay. So like if you plug a microphone inside your mixing desk or interface, you need to get a proper input that can handle this signal. So for an example of a microphone, the signal is really low, so you need a lot of gain to crank it up and get it to a proper level you can record, okay? But it's not only about level, it's also about what we call impedance. So like a source have its own impedance, and a receiver or destination also have its own impedance, and you need to have not matching impedance, but you need to have a good relationship between these two impedances when you do the connection, when you enter your guitar or enter your mic. And so depending on the source, every source has, type of source has different impedance. Like a line output will have a very small impedance, like few hundred ohm. That's unit we use for that. Whereas a guitar pickup, it will be like maybe 30, 40, 50 kilo ohm. Okay, so it's a ratio difference is huge. So the type of input you need on the other side will, its impedance will vary also. Okay, so when I'm coming out from my audio interface to go into your guitar gear, you need to deliver a signal that is compatible with your guitar gear. And so you need a proper level, but you need also like kind of matching impedance, so you preserve your signal. If you don't match the impedance, if you get it wrong, the signal will go through, but you will alter the tone of your guitar, okay? That's actually, I think, part of the tone when you're recording guitars, for example, it's the relationship between the pickup and the amplifier, for example. So if instead of putting your guitar, you're putting like a line output, regular line output from any interface, then you will alter the sound because the impedance are not, mean to be in front of each other. And so the reamp output is really matching this impedance, so you preserve the true tone of your guitar. Okay, so
perfect.
It's really sometimes the difference between not having the reamp and just using line output will be subtle. Sometimes, and it will depend of what kind of amp, what kind of guitar pedal you use. The difference will be
pedals, overdrives, things, they really, as I've found, respond very differently.
Yeah.
Those things that are often at the front of your guitar chain, and that's what we want to do a lot of the time, is use these pedals to add color. Exactly. And you can't do that without that right relationship. What I'm amazed about is that these auxiliary outputs, do I have to change the state in the software for them to become, are they multi-state outputs essentially?
Yeah, you can have the line level standard use for this aux output, and you go into the software that control these settings, and you will change this output to reamp mode. So it's just clicking on the button.
So I go to analog outputs, right?
Right, analog outputs, you can see the auxiliary outputs, and actually you got it on screen here. And you just click reamp on one of or both of the output you want to use. Okay, you can adjust the level with a fader beside. So usually, if you go in a guitar amp, you will want to have lower your level quite a lot, like 30 dBs, 20 dBs, and then you just need to activate this function, and you're done. Okay, and then
I'm having a look. Oh, here we are. Yeah, main app, reamp, auxiliary. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So when that's red, is that reamping now?
Yeah, that's reamping.
Wow, that's cool. And I can hear it click. I can hear a click.
It's a relay.
So mechanically.
It's a pure analog function. You don't do digital trick there. It's an analog relay which switch the output in one of these modes. Yeah. And
that means that now, because I'm just going to do a mono reamp.
Yeah.
I've got that gone for my auxiliary left. I've turned that into reamp, and now my chain of pedals will see the guitar coming out of my computer, but it'll be as if it was coming from my guitar.
Exactly. It won't make a difference. You can adjust level because, again, depending, if you having, active pickup or you need to adjust the level with a fader near to it. So probably you're gonna, to trim the level, because the level can be also, compatible for line level. So you need when you're in reamp mode to bring down the level with the small fader on the screen nearby. And you're set, and that's all.
Martin, what a beautifully well executed explanation of something. No, really, it was, and hopefully, because it's a thing. I think people have heard about it, and they're probably forgetting that they need this technology. They either need it in another box, or they need to buy. The AudioFuse is unique in this at the moment, right?
Yeah, there's a few other interface who has this reamp capability, but they don't have all the function around. I think that's part of many features that are part of the AudioFuse Studio, and that's one of them. But it's true that when you think about it, you have 4 DI integrated in the unit, and this small unit has its own 4 DI plus preamps plus 2 reamp. So if you wanted to do it externally with boxes, you would need a lot, and that's a lot of money actually. And also a lot of hassle to plug in, out, etc. Here with the software, you can select which source, or actually, let's go a bit deeper in that, because that's also interesting. For example, if you're recording, you want to let's say you want to record your guitar dry directly from the jack, but in the same time you want to record your pedals, and you also want to record your amp. Well, with the AudioFuse, you can route your preamp directly to the reamp output. So you can play and go straight, also same time you're recording your DI, you will go straight to the amp at the same time, put a mic and record it in the same time. So you can do live configuration using reamping, or you stop playing and you will route a source from your DAW. It can be a pre-recorded guitar, but it could also be, and that's the fun bit, you can select like a drum track, voice, and go through your pedals, through your amp, and have fun with it when you're mixing. So it's both, a live situation when you're recording, you can use the reamp mode, but you can also use it when you're mixing.
Well, I'm going to do that right now, Martin, and we'll be thinking of you, and hopefully it comes out right. Thanks so much for joining me today,
mate.
You're
welcome. It was a pleasure.
And lots of love, and we're going to go watch some Philip Katrine videos, yeah?
Yeah, it was.
See you, mate. Right. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks again to Martin for all that explanation about the AudioFuse. Now it's time to reamp those guitar parts that I did before. So we've got 3 to do. What I've done is, I will show you hopefully here on the screen, capture. In the AudioFuse control center, I did exactly what he said and turned on the reamp output here. And that's done what he just explained, which has changed the impedance relationship. That now comes out in mono into some pedals that I've brought along with me. I've got the Fairfield Circuitry Shallow Water, the Super Ego Plus from Electro Harmonics, and the Mood from Chase Bliss, going into my Lazy J. Now, let's go to the session. Here it is. And I've changed it inside Logic here. You'll see that on that first part, I've turned off the initial amp modeling I had on, and I've made sure that this track is routed to the output 3, which is this one. So now it's going to go out at the right impedance, right level for these pedals to see it and the amp. At first, let's just hear what it sounds like going out to the Lazy J. I dig that, but what I'm going to do now is the whole fun of reamping, which is we're taking that DI sound that I've got into the amp, and now I can have a fiddle and find the sound that I really wanted. So bear with me, have a listen to this. Oh, we got the mood there doing in slip mode, doing something that I enjoyed there. That was nice as well. You can leave it on loop and tinker with your pedals and find the sound you want. So I'm going to commit that into Logic. Let's record it in. Cool, so we've put that in there. Let's go on to the next part. This next part I labelled as Guitorgan, and that's because one of the things, I love this combination of the Super Ego Plus and the Mood. The Mood gives it this lo-fi, crispy reverb. In the reverb mode I've got it in, and what I do is with the Super Ego is I'm freezing things, and it's got this lovely glissando feature that makes it sound like they're almost horn parts going against each other. Now what's great is if I don't have that with me, again I recorded this initial part. This is with, I'll remind you of it. Let's go in, I'll turn the effect down, the dry up. Got those finger snaps back in. Now what I'm going to do is turn on the Mood, and I'm going to freeze the audio as we go along and try record that in. Wish me luck. I decided to go for the real spring that's in the Lazy J for my reverb, so I'm just freezing stuff on there. Let's go for it. On to the next one. Did a little chug part, cranked the Lazy J up a little bit. Let's put it in, no reverb, dig it. Thank you for staying here if you made it to the end of the video. Hopefully you've learned a bit more about the AudioFuse, maybe even a bit more about reamping. Thanks again to Martin. Thanks again to Tay.
Hey.
And what I've just done here is chop up those little bits that I reamped and made a little arrangement so I can have a shred over, and literally a shred, like a shreds video. What you'll hear me is showing another way that you can use the AudioFuse, which is because of that reamp output, I'm going to record myself live in, but it also means I get the DI signal at the same time. So I've got recording the DI, and then you're going to hear the mic blend. This is just me going into the Lazy J, going to play some licks to call us out. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing. If you don't, let us know in the comments. Also, there's a few plugins on here, namely one called Buzzfree, which I used from Clevgrand, which uses just allowed me to take off some of the noise. I know it's very lo-fi. Forgive us. we have to get all of this in shot. A lot of digital pedals, laptops, lights. So when you do it at home, don't do it like I did. Have some space, take precautions, turn 90 degrees to the computer, minimize noise, or call it lo-fi. That's what the hip kids do. Anyway, see you guys.